I would like to apologize up front for my inability to articulate at times from the written format, and I'm going to try to keep this brief as I know we're under time constraints. My name, as I said, is Jim Lloyd. Over 17 years ago, February 2002, at the start of the war in Afghanistan, I deployed from Fort Carson, Kentucky with the 2nd Battalion, 19th Special Forces Group, to K2, Karshi-Khanabad, Uzbekistan, en route to forward operating base in Host, Afghanistan. 2 weeks prior to my deployment, as was required because you need a serum level of this, I was given a blister pack of Mefloquine and told to begin taking this drug on a weekly basis. As an 18 Delta Special Forces medic, I also administered this drug to my team every Monday, and I ensured other teams under my care had their appropriate malaria prophylaxis. We would soon call it Manic Monday, as we nearly all developed problems from the drug. Many of the team members I had served with for over 20 years developed unusual sleep disturbances, including sleepwalking, nightmares, vivid dreams, and would continue as daytime hallucinations. Many became unusually aggressive. I was never told that we were to stop the drug when these symptoms occurred. Ultimately, our team sergeant major became so dysfunctional from similar symptoms, I took him off Mefloquine and substituted with doxycycline. I had him taken out of the combat environment and returned to K2 in Uzbekistan, where he could perform administrative duties without the stress of combat. I myself suffered through nightmares and vivid dreams and had difficulty performing simple tasks, including difficulty reading. I had constant headaches. I also suffered significant changes in my mood and behaviors. When I returned home, these continued and ultimately led to a physical altercation with my spouse. And the realization that I needed help. Fortunately, I immediately sought mental health treatment, and I was told that I suffered from PTSD. But there were some differences in what my therapist says he normally saw with his PTSD patients. One difference that I noticed was that I was very dizzy. For example, I found that if I would look over my right shoulder, I would experience a sensation of tumbling in space and would ultimately fall down. This became very problematic as I was an ultra runner. One day while running a trail in the wilderness, I took a 10-foot fall and dislocated my left elbow. In 2003, I happened upon a website that discussed the possible side effects of Mefloquine, and everything began to make sense. I ultimately met Commander Bill Manofsky, and he assisted me in being seen by the director of the Naval Spatial Orientation Center, Dr. Hoffer, who confirmed after careful testing that I suffered from brainstem dysfunction from Mefloquine toxicity. Specifically, I was diagnosed with a deficit in my vestibular cerebellar pathways. He also informed me that he had seen quite a bit of this and that these effects were due to the drug's neurotoxicity. I was ultimately forced out of the military on medical grounds with a formal diagnosis of vestibular ocular dysfunction secondary to Mefloquine. Subsequent workup confirmed that my condition would likely deteriorate over time. During one set of vestibular testing, I suffered what was diagnosed as a seizure activity. To this day, I still suffer from problems with central visual dysfunction. I continue to suffer regular disequilibrium and vertigo that have been attributed to a central or brainstem disorder. I also suffer emotional dysregulation and cognitive impairment, not fully attributable to PTSD. 15 years ago, I was promised that my case would be part of a study that would be published by the CDC and the Navy, but this never happened. To my knowledge, the details of my case have never appeared in the scientific literature. It took the FDA 10 years after my brainstem damage had been reported for the agency to conclude that the drug caused permanent neurological effects similar to mine and to add a boxed warning to the drug. If only the U.S. military, FDA, had taken my case and others seriously and listened to Dr. Hoffer and Commander Manofsky, that same warning could have been published 10 years earlier, and the U.S. military could have deprioritized Mefloquine in 2003, not 2013. Who knows how many soldiers could have been spared my fate if this had been done. As you conduct your literature review, make no mistake, the literature does not contain my story. The Quinism Foundation has all of my records and those of many more of my original cohort. I urge you to work with them to review and study my records and decide for yourself the extent of Mefloquine and its neurotoxicity as to the cause of my disability and that of many of my team members. Thank you for your attention. And I would like to add just one more thing. What soldier in combat does not experience anxiety and depression? I would be worried about anybody that didn't.
Takes the Mefloquine